I survived 2000 days in Minecraft. Not hardcore by the way, but yeah. I'll be showing you this journey and all the new parts of my world that I've built after the 1000 day mark. I'll be uploading a separate world tour for 2000 days which you can find on my channel. If you go on to enjoy the video, please like, subscribe, comment, and here we go. Last episode we left off with a secret underground operation involving TNT. This was part of my project to preserve things in 1.17 that would be removed in 1.18. In 1.17, if you destroyed an entire chunk of bedrock and upgrade to 1.18, the chunk will be completely empty and won't load anything in under the destroyed bedrock, giving you a glitched chunk which I thought was quite cool. Location of this must be kept secret though, to not let anyone know where it is. You'll see why I done this later on in the video. However, I didn't clean the entire chunk in time, but still got a cool effect where it kept the bedrock at Y level 0 and didn't move it down. At this point I spent a lot of time gathering mobs for my museum. Mobs holding glow ink sacs wouldn't be a thing after 1.17, so I decided to collect them. I also spent a lot of time looking for 1.17 terrain, since 1.18 overhauled the terrain, meaning certain areas of my world were now rare and could not be generated in 1.18. Now my country essentially had its own holiday resort, so that's cool. While exploring I also found the world's smallest mesa. Like, I've never seen one this small. At around day 1100 I started work on my own personal castle just for storing things. It doesn't look the best, but it is just fun to build as the area was perfect for a small castle. This castle has storage, uses some redstone, has secret windows and has extra buildings and walls for it. I'll be showing all of this off for the 2000 days world tour. I had a great time building this, so it is all worth it. At around day 1200 I finally made contact with the nether ceiling and decided it is a great place to start building farms. I heard a lot of weird noise up there, so I didn't feel alone. I then decided I wanted to build a gold farm up there and got to work. This required a lot, and I mean a lot, of magma blocks. There's also a glitch where gas still spawned even though I gas-proofed the farm, but all the pain was worth it in the end, as I could now get hundreds of levels easily and a lot of gold. This also allowed me to move from potatoes to golden carrots. I then demolished my failed bamboo farm and made a nice little walking area. Also made a project to cool the city using shade from the trees, which also cleared the air a bit, but then I nearly ended the entire world. I'll run you through the story. Me and my friend both had separate worlds and we always wanted to play together but couldn't because we had tons of progress in our worlds. So we thought of a system where you throw items into lava in your own world and the other person can give themselves it in their own world. Almost as if we're trading between worlds. Thinking about this now, this is a horrible idea. It seems that life agreed it was a horrible idea too. Right as we started discussing this technique, strange things started happening in my world, and this is not scripted at all. We were on a voice call and I have part of this recorded. Firstly, every time we would discuss anything about this, lightning would start in the world, and y'all know how rare that is. I have multiple screenshots of trees burning in front of me. The lightning would always hit the ground right in front of me, which is really weird. There's no way this is a coincidence. Another thing is that pillagers were everywhere, including my villager trader, which meant they had to walk all the way up a winding dirt path and walk into one of these villagers' areas. This might have been a coincidence, but it's still weird. A forest fire also begun when a thunder hit a tree right in front of me. This is a weird time and had me take a break from the world for a while. Here's another image of lightning hitting right in front of me. I didn't feel good about this trading method as it felt like cheating, but I came up with a solution to all of this later on in the episode. Stay tuned to find out. We are now finally at day 1500, meaning we're halfway there, and I promise the second half gets way more exciting. This is a quick reminder to like the video if you enjoyed it so far. Let's get into it. Moving on from all of this, I then started my next project. I wanted to collect every die in Minecraft. I'll be posting how I did this on my second channel, which is linked on my YouTube channel homepage, so yeah, go check it out. This started with me constructing a skeleton farm, an iron farm, and a cocoa bean farm. This also helped advance my world on the side, so this was worth it. Now it was finally time for me to address something. My nether portal room was hideous. This gave me the idea to build a new one to replace it. There we go. That's a bit better. But then I realized something. This world has too much ambitions and I didn't have the time to finish all of them. I often took multiple month breaks from Minecraft and could never stay consistent. I hinted earlier that I found a solution to a lot of problems earlier in this episode. With the amount of projects I wanted to undertake, I knew I couldn't do this alone. So this is where I started preparing. Preparing for new players. I was about to turn my 1600 day single player world into a multiplayer world. Preparations begun. I built up a spawn area and made a nether tunnel leading to my town. Then came day 1666 and the first new player joined. That day thing is a weird coincidence because I didn't plan that at all. I only found out while writing the script that he joined on that day, but that's interesting. The first new player has joined. Welcome in Giant Luca 123. I'll be referring to him as Luca for the sake of simplicity. While Luca was getting comfortable in the server, I started working on housing estates to expand the village. I named this 505 Avenue because the buildings look like the album cover for the song 505. These houses didn't look good, but they fit the purpose. Luca liked the theme of my random building in the plains biome, which was inspired from one of my earlier videos, so he began construction on this area rapidly and I was amazed at the progress. I later decided to honor his work by naming the village Lucarville after him. By this point he had built multiple stores, a church, a watchtower, a house for himself, a blacksmith building and some farms. He then also begun work on a massive trading hall. This became the third tallest building in the world at that time. Then came what could have been changed to the server. A third member. I will refer to him as AK. Right as he joined, he decided the world tour was too boring and only 1 minute in caused absolute chaos. He fought piglins with his bare hands, kept losing the free items we gave him, and jumped off multiple buildings. We had enough and Spawn killed him until he left, and then we banned him. We looked at this as a learning experience for what to do if a server had a crazy member. We would need these skills in the future, trust me. At this point we were unified and identified as a single country. This country was named the United States of Monogia. We now had double the manpower and it was time for us to show the world who's boss. So we built a disco hall. Yeah, anyways, moving on. As we were approaching 2000 days, Luca gave me a deal I couldn't refuse on one of his buildings. It only cost a few emeralds for a pretty decent building. I accepted, thinking that the deals were over, but then he gave me multiple other deals. I accepted all of them as I couldn't refuse them considering they would cost way more in the future. He then basically gave me a deal for like almost every other building and even considered selling his own house. Since he built so much in such a short span of time, he knew he could get an easy bunch of cash just by selling them for very cheap prices and then could build more using this cash and repeat. Then, on a lonely spring night, I hit day 2000 and logged off midway through so Luca could experience day 2000 as well. Anyway, this is it for this episode. By this point, I still didn't have too much footage of what I did, which explains all the cinematics. The world has only just begun taking off as we now have 2 serious players instead of 1. If you want to see where this world goes in the future, make sure to like and subscribe, as each episode will get more and more exciting. In the next episode, we may or may not have caused some chaos. Stay tuned.